Hello, hello, and welcome back to Blood Rush League's main bracket round one matches. Tonight we've got Origin versus Temporary, and we got Alta playing Killer Blight here for Origin on the Groaning Storehouse 2. Let me welcome in my lovely co-caster Yonder. Say hi, Yonder.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, Yonder, how do you feel about the map choice of Groaning Storehouse 2 for this season of Blood Rush for Blights?
I've seen Groningen Storehouse in competitive before. I think, if I'm not mistaken, a DBD League had a singularity on this map, and how's it called? I've seen killers played on this map. I think obviously not just singularity, but in the public matches as well. I've seen how some killers can actually benefit from this map, and Blight obviously one of the stronger killers in the game. I don't think we necessarily have an issue dealing with the large map aspect, but from what we can see, we have a very nice and I would say pretty fair three Godrock setup. So that is pretty nice.
Yeah, Aldo
So yeah,
just playing
a
this
definitely interesting map.
very, yeah, definitely. Aldo just playing this beautifully, getting two early hits here, very, very early into the game, actually, as I just realized. And it looks like we're going to be committing to our Claudette here over on the 10 side of the map, as she has to run a juicer chase, but unfortunately being unable to force locker, she goes down, and this will be Aldo's first hook.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I
as you
mean,
were talking, sorry to cut you off. Yeah, as you were talking about on this map, the nine side of the map is very, very strong for survivors. But besides that, if you're not dying nine every time, it's pretty good for this killer, honestly. But like this map benefits this killer as it has less pallets than the usual maps he's played on. So definitely got to see what's gonna happen here. And looks like we're going back to our gen and trying to spot someone out here. And as I say that, beautiful hits coming through onto our Dwight. That was a beautiful rush out on my goats. Holy shit.
hey, but as you said that was a beautiful rush from our killer here, Outer playing this out of his fucking mind. What I would say is like you said, if you're not going towards the 9 side of the map, I think Blight here would have a very very easy time getting the downs. The one thing I would say is that I actually forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, we do have a survivor close here. We have the gem progress applying eruption once again, and I actually remember what I wanted to say. We have the call of blind, the recently
Yeah, I
buffed call
was
of
I was
blind.
gonna call that out too. How are you feeling about the call of Ryan pick on an ST killer? I mean, it is a form of slowdown technically, and you're not allowed pain raise on an ST set. So I'm fucking with the pick personally. I'm a huge fan of Call of Ryan. Been running it since the old days of comp, and it's been like one of my go-to perks always. So I love the pick.
Um, Especially since it got recently buffed to a very nice and balanced 150 regression speed. I would say that the perk is actually very usable right now, especially on sets that do not allow pain resonance. So on the build we have right now, which is actually the build I used very recently in the Blight scrims, I think this is just a very solid overall perk. You can apply it just like Eruption, you can apply it on every gen whenever you kick it. So yeah, I think overall it's just a very solid choice. It really is, especially with the recent buffs. Before I would have
Yeah,
said
definitely agree
no,
with you.
but now yes.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. With the buff that it's gotten so far, it's just been insane to use. But it looked like Outer strayed a little bit too far away from Hook, allowing our killer to get this unhook for free. And our Dwight's just going to have a little bit more time to play his chase here. As a hit tank comes through, looks like when we get taking the hit, but the survivor runs into the basement. Are we going to commit to this? It looks like we're not, as we opt to commit to our Dwight around the shack here and try and mind game him. But unfortunately, the mind game doesn't come through as our Dwight is just the demon Dwight. But as I say that, oh my god, that was so close, Outer. We do see our first gen pop in the distance here, but we do have our Dwight on Death Hook too, so it looks like our killer Outer is just playing this insanely well, almost about to secure a tunnel at 3 gens remaining, so it's looking kind of rough for our survivors.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, oh, very, very well dodged by our fight here. Um, although we do have 3 injured survivors, we do also have 2 gens popped. And the Dwight here is just playing out of his mind. Like I would say, although the Blight is not getting the down, I would also say that both him and the Dwight are playing out of their mind. This
No,
is
literally agree
genuinely.
with you though, because like this chase should have ended so long ago, but it looks like our Dwight has just played this so perfect, being able to make it all the way back to Shaq again from the 9 side of the map after extending that chase by a long while. Our survivors might be able to pop another thing in the distance here, but we're not too sure. We got to see what they can do and if they're able to pop another gen in the distance. But it looks like Outer here has a pretty decent 3 gen just off what I saw. Considering it's a killer like Blight, you have such good map traversal, 5 rushes, speed, and definitely, it's definitely looking winnable for Outer here.
I mean, we do have our Dwight here dead at 3 generators left, with Pop, Call of Brine, Eruption. Man, that sounds like a 2-year-old. This sounds like a 2-year-old meta at this point. Damn. Well, I guess we're back on the I guess we're back on the kicking gen meta, at least on these S tier sets.
No,
Um,
definitely, yeah, I agree with you. It's looking like the meta that was around 2 years ago with just Call of Brand, Pop, and Eruption, as it's literally just a clone of that right now, as what was like from what we see. Looks like we're going to be committing the edge map around our ace, but unfortunately missing. And our ace is just playing the Z-Wall beautifully. Z-Wall Looper, the GOAT here, definitely playing this out of his mind, but taking a hit here and running towards the 3 side of the map, trying to extend this chase out as much as possible, but vaulting into the killer, but he doesn't hit outer ping, unfortunately, not getting that, but the plot twist causes an eruption on the generator on the 9 side of the map, which is so unfortunate. It looks like he didn't call that he was plot twisting, which could have been a big mistake here.
That is such a unfortunate plot twist, but at the same time, so funny. Or well, obviously it's funny for us, but not funny for the survivors here who unfortunately got hit by their own teammate with Eruption, which is a bit hilarious. Ooh, a very beautiful down here. This could actually be the end of the game if our Blight decides to slug. No, actually, never mind, because we have plot twist in play as I'm speaking.
Yeah, honestly, the plot twist pick, like, it might look like it was a throw, but honestly, it could recover this game here. It looks like our killer was already going to check 9 anyways. So having a healthy survivor on board, being able to rotate for that pick as we see on Nia, it's like this game can honestly recover. And as I say that, the dead hard does come through from our Claudette. Looks like we're opting to leave, go back towards the 3 side of the map, and just play this out slow again as we have 2 injured across the board.
I mean, my bad. From what we're seeing here, everyone injured. This again, like I was saying earlier, but the plot twist had to come in. This could be a slug at 3 generators left with our Blight here. Yeah, with our Blight here seemingly just going for it, which fair enough. Again, two others who was being injured. This could be actually very nice pathing by our Blight here.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a bit of a more ballsy play to play for Slugs here, considering it's an S tier set with Unbreakable allowed and perks like Plot Twist as we saw earlier. So literally anything can happen. This game is in anyone's hands so far with the perks that are on the board. So it really just comes down to how our killer plays this, how his macro is, and where he finds these survivors.
I mean, I agree with you here, Hart. We do see that our Blight does decide in the end to pick up the ace. I will just say that regardless of the perks that were that are allowed in these S tier sets, in this game at least, I'm talking about this game in particular, plot twist was used. So until the end game starts, which I don't think will happen in this set, um, plot twist is not gonna be available anymore, so we only gotta worry about Unbreakable. So our Blight here will definitely try to go for more slugs, I think. Maybe one more generator should pop.
Yeah, definitely. He's just playing this beautifully. Aldo is like just genuinely playing out of his mind on the Blight, shocking me to be honest, by the way that he's playing here. And it looks like we're gonna be we're not securing the down. Very, very unfortunate. But Chase is around our hook here, so anything could really happen.
Oh, very beautiful, very beautiful down by Outer here, just playing so well. Going back to the gen here in the pocket, very interesting play. Oh, we do have the all reading from Eruption, which gave away the fact that also our here was gonna go for the beautiful. Beautiful play. This could actually be the slug we were talking about earlier. No, never mind. We're just gonna go for the pick, but most likely gonna rush back to the reset. Yes.
Yeah, definitely going to go back to the four side, three side of the map to spot out our survivors who have just picked each other up. As we saw I believe that was our ace with Deli there, getting off the hook while Chase was nearby and being able to pick up that remaining survivor who was on the ground on the five side of the map. Yeah, as I say that, we do spot him out and he does go down. Very, very unfortunate. Looks like we're opting to slug this and heavily play for that 4K3 as we look for our last survivor on the sixth side of the map.
I would just say that our Blightyear Outer played so well, going for the slug, knowing when to slug. Obviously, not every single the slug attempt can succeed in the first try, but constantly going for this just high octane gameplay with with this insane amount of pressure definitely paid off.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you here. We're getting a bit worried as we check these lockers, as our Claudette has reset herself, I believe, and we weren't able to find her on the sixth side of the map, so she really could be anywhere at this point, considering she wasn't on this side of the map. And as I say that, we do see the unhook come through onto our Nia, and yeah, our survivors are really just trying to recover this game as much as they can, possibly play for a 4K2, which is their best bet, and then having to have Temporary's Killer have to lock in next game and secure a win con for them. But as I say that, Nia unfortunately getting mind gamed on the filler here, going down quite early as our killer makes his way back to the three side of the map, trying to spot someone out. And it looks like we do see their scratch marks here. And we're possibly just going to be committing this chase as we really have no worries here, as it's our last healthy survivor remaining on the board. Running to the one Ormond tile on this map, being just going to have to extend the chase as much as they can. But looks like they do run to the edge map here, playing this one tile insanely well. And Outer still just playing
Oh,
gets better though. Unfortunately, getting the hit onto our Claudette. So Outer is just out of his mind. Like it's on. He's just a different breed on the Blight.
can agree with you on that one, my dear Cancer Hearts. Wow, just an absolute demon, minding his own business, really, just wanting to play the killer, and I think generally enjoying his time. Obviously, the slugs sadly not really going to plan, not being able to just finish the game quite, just not quite, but definitely definitely can say that the one in control of this game is Outer.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with that, as he's forcing our survivors to constantly have to reset each other, and no pressure can really be put across the board if they're just going to have to consistently reset here. And yeah, we see another survivor go onto the ground here, as Outer goes towards the one side of the map, looking to commit to another survivor.
We do find the scratch marks here, but we also see we also see the not so talked about part of Call of Bind here, the information it's giving our killer here, that the generator on that 9 side of the map is being heavily progressed at the moment. Unfortunately, not getting the hit there on Claudette, just kind of just activating the terrorist pathing to avoid a potential hit here. Very interesting.
Oh my
Oh,
God, Outer, you are just a demon. Holy shit. Outer is just playing out of his mind as we slug our Nia and go back towards our Claudette and Ace to secure that 4K3. Hopefully. Let's see. Let's see what Outer's able to pull out here. Well, unfortunately, not getting
look.
the hit there. Very, very nice try, but it looks like Ace will just be forcing Locker. Doesn't really have anything to work with on this side of the map towards Shax, so just gonna force a Locker, get the hook in basement. Oh no, actually opting to drop. Interesting choice as he's about to bleed out, and bleed out penalties could apply if they do tie next game as Gens do come first in this tournament.
I would say, although although potential penalties coming through, I would say that this is still, in my opinion, the go-to play in this situation, considering that this is pretty much a guaranteed 4K3. Like we said earlier, it's mostly a matter of time before this happens. Um, I'm just curious to see if Temporary's killer will be able to even come close to such a monstrous performance from Outer here.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that. Alda has just played insanely well. Some of the best performances I've seen on the Blight set tonight. Looks like we're opting to let the bleed out happen. We just don't care anymore. Just wanting to secure that 4K3 on our Survivor team of Temporary.
Yeah, as we can see here, pretty much just like this is the moment of the 4K3 pretty much. Let's see how quickly can Alter truly finish this chase.
Aldo just playing for style points at this point, getting the down onto Claude at Shaq, taking the pick, and that will be the 4K3 secured for Alta. What a beautiful performance, Yonder. Any opinions on this match so far?
Oh well. So far I would say that although Alter was in clear control of the game, I still want to give props to Temporary Survivor here. That although in a very very rough situation, they gave their all to try and recover, and this is, in my opinion, a showing of great mentality. Definitely trying their absolute best to try and win and go to the next round of Blood Rush League.
Yeah, definitely. Aldo just dominating temporary survivors on a set like this. But it is Blight at the end of the day. Anything can really happen on both sides. We could see a 4K5 on the next set. Who knows? Like not like anything could really happen on a SD killer like this. But yeah, definitely a solid performance from both sides here of temporary and origin. So yeah, we'll be back after a short intermission with the second half of our first set. Hello, hello, and welcome back to our second half of our first match up between Origin versus Temporary. We had a little bit of a recording issue here, so we're going to be starting from the first gen popping on this set here, and it looks like Altor will be playing the killer for Temporary, securing a down onto our Felix and chasing our Survivor here as the unhook comes through onto Felix quite quickly here. So it looks like we're just going to be opting to leave our Survivor and going back towards our Felix to play for this champion of Light Chaser.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an unfortunate thing with the bit of an unfortunate situation here with the recording. But as we're going into the chase here, we do see one gem popped. We do see one gem popped. With only one hook, so our survivors here definitely having that very strong early gem pressure.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with a win con like I think the win con was 4K4, I believe. It's looking really hard as we're in the Tycon state currently for temporary. But how do we feel about this build so far? We're seeing the use of Ruin and Undying, which is a more unique approach for a map like this, in my opinion.
I would say a pretty. I'm considering the win con. I would say this is actually not that bad. I would say this is not that bad of a trade-off. Like you basically are not going for that early game rotation forcing part, which is corrupt. You just go for a very full-on slow down build, trying to get that win con. I would say this is a pretty standard choice for for a win con like this.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. And unfortunately, the reverse stun coming through on the far side of the map for our killer. It looks like the survivor RNG is looking much better on this side of the map for our survivors than it was for temporary survivors. So Origin's just getting really lucky. He has the gen for the win condition pops in front of our killer's face. Altor unfortunately getting that gen popped in his face by our Yunjin here. Looks like Yunjin's just going to have to run some sort of juicer chase to get out of the middle of the map, because if she dies here, this could be a bit chaotic for her. Even though our win con is met, our killer's really going to just try his best here to play for the best result possible as our Yunjin just jiggies back to the 5 side of the map. And oh my god, we're bouncing off her like a trampoline. That is so unfortunate. She's gonna be able to make this filler here. Our killer getting a little bit in the panic mode, which is very, very unfortunate. But he's just really gonna have to try his best here to secure this down as quick as possible. But our Yunjin just reading him like a book. Unfortunate for Altor. Just gonna have to look for someone else to commit at this point, as the 4th gen does pop in the distance.
Very unfortunate for our killer here. Obviously, considering the win con and considering obviously the build, like you're just trying to so hard to get to that win con. It's just a very high pressure situation, and I don't really blame the killer for going into a bit of a panic mode because after all, this is just very rough. And I would say that unless with huge amounts of practice, playing this map as Blight out of experience when this map was in the public match rotations for maps, it was a very hard time.
No, yeah,
So
definitely
just
agree
very
with you because
unfortunate.
this map isn't always guaranteed to get. Scrims are also starting to get very hard to get sometimes. So, yeah, this map, it's definitely it could really be in anyone's favor depending on how people play. Like we saw last game, our killer was able to dominate and put the game in his favor, but this game we really see our survivors being able to dominate and put the game into their favor as they run immaculate chases on the side of the map that they need to be at. As we see, our killer is heavily into the 9 side here, chasing our survivor where they shouldn't be chasing, as the side of the map is just so strong. Because if you die here, you're away from everything that's really going on. And we see a hit tank coming through against Blight. How do we feel about that? I haven't seen many hit tanks against an SD killer.
Well, honestly, I mean, I wouldn't say I haven't seen that. It's just more of a why would you? Obviously, in S tier killer, you just want the body blocker and then you instantly rush to go for the survivor
Yeah,
that you want to
definitely. I
initially
feel like
chase.
our ace could have been doing anything else, working again with one of the survivors and playing safely. I don't think he really had to be playing for a hit tank on the 9 side of the map. But even then, it looks like we're going to be chasing our Jake here. Unfortunately, not getting the hit onto our Jake. But also missing through the window. That is so unfortunate for our killer here, just having to try their best. But anyways, this will be the win of set 1 secured for Origin. Oh my god, the greed is insane on these survivors. Greed is a sin. Oh my god. Dropping the pallet finally on the Godrock, but vaulting back into the killer, but the life usage allowing her to get out of there as the gate is being worked in the distance. And the SB usage too. Are they gonna get the 4 man out here? What do we think, Yonder?
I mean, I would just say that at this point, at this point, I would just say that survivors are playing for fun, knowing that they did get the win con and the win con. They just got the win. They got the win. They showed complete dominance over our killer here, with all due respect to the killer. But this was just a very high pressure situation, very hard to win. And yeah, I mean, GTs were played for both teams. They both tried their absolute best.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to the second half of our sorry for the first half of our second set of Temporary versus Origin. Origin did end up taking set 1, but this is Temporary's pick, and we see Jimmy here playing Killer for Temporary on their pick of choice. So anything can really happen here. This was their pick at the end of the day, as I had already mentioned. So honestly, anything could really happen. This is probably a killer that they're more experienced at. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be chasing our Felix here over on the 5 side of the map, as OCE would call it. I'm not too sure. What do you call this side of the map, Mr. Yonder, in EU?
On the well, on EU here, this is actually the 12th side. This is actually the 12th side of the map. Um, this is the 12th side of the map, and from here on, obviously, it's kind of easy to kind of orient yourself. Right now, we're still sticking on the 12th bus here, but in front of us would have been 11 and 10. But yeah, here our Felix here just absolutely winning those 50s. Oh my God, he really
Definitely
just not giving
playing
up.
out of his mind on these 50s on the 12 bus here. It looks like he's already left. He's jiggied his way back around on the 12 side of the bus again. But wait, where has he gone? He's jiggied back towards. I think he's trying to make it up towards the 9 side of the map here. Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do as he runs up towards the 10 side of the map. Just going to jiggy as much as he can, trying to die in the edge map for his team as they pop as much gens as they can. The bottle hit coming through, going to be able to break zone this, I believe. And it looks like we have an edge map filler towards the 9 side, so anything can really happen here. I think our survivors are just playing insanely well here against Jimmy. Oh my God. The spam vault unfortunately not working for our survivor, Mr. Felix here. So it looks like we'll be getting the pick on Felix, but honestly, not a bad chase from Mr. Felix as our survivors are able to pop 2 gens in the background. So yeah, looks like we're going to be
I
looking
mean,
for a pain res hook here. And there we go. Unfortunately, that is not a pain res hook, it looks like.
I would just like to point out that um in the last game. I was saying at one point that the survivors were just playing for fun, and I would say that in this game as well, the survivors here just kind of going out and enjoying themselves. The Felix here, I would say, going for the most wild 50-50s on that bus palette I've seen in a long while, to just kind of spam vaulting that palette. I
Yeah, and then
mean,
the
that's
fucking
just crazy.
astronomical jiggy from the bus back up to towards the top side of the map. It was insane from our killer here. Sorry, from our survivor here, our Mr. Felix. So yeah, let's see what really happens. Looks like we do see some scratchies, and are we gonna be committing to this? That's the real question. It looks like we might just be committing to this chaser.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would say that our account here is in a pretty bad spot. But oh, actually, wait, that was actually very solid here. Unfortunately, a gen popping in the background, and I'm actually wait. I think my eyes are deceiving me. Am I seeing one gen? I'm just not sure. I just woke up.
Yeah,
Uh,
you are seeing one gen remaining with one hook on the board, which is so unfortunate for our killer here. Because our survivors are just playing this beautifully together. It looks like they really have scrimmed, they really have practiced their sets, and they're just playing so beautiful as we see our Yunjin playing for hit tanks with Mr. Felix here.
also, was here just playing absolutely beautifully. Very composed, I would say, very calm. Again, just kind of enjoying themselves, like just enjoying the fact that they're here, and the fact they have this opportunity to to play the set, and like you said earlier, it really shows that they've practiced this set in scrims a lot.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. And also, I think our killer did something questionable here with their build, running Dragon Script, but we saw zero usage of Dragon Script due to heavily committing to our Felix here and not really playing around our gen split. So I feel like we had to have more chase-oriented perks if we're really going to play for securing a tunnel out here and not really kicking and checking on our gens.
I mean, after all, we are not the ones who are playing in this
Definitely.
we are not the ones playing in this set. Everyone can do everyone can do and choose whatever they want. But I also want to agree, because I think that going for such a build with Pain Res, Dragon Script, and not really getting those downs, and not really getting those gen kicks to proc Dragon Script, is just a bit of a it's just a bit of a waste.
Yeah, definitely agree with you because running those sort of perks requires you to play in a certain way, and if you're not going to play in that way, then at the end of the day, what's the point in running them? It looks like our survivors are really going to be wanting to play for more here. They want the best result possible, which it looks like they will be doing as they get the unhook for free. As our killer strays a little bit too far, our survivors are going to be making their way towards the other gate that's being progressed. I think that has been already progressed to 99 or been open. Sorry, yeah, it's been open, and our Yunjin just playing for a beautiful hit tank here. And yeah, she gets the hit to, oh, unfortunate. Our ace will be going down. Slips right off the Yunjin's back and gets the pick onto our ace here.
Very, very unfortunate things here for us. Was unfortunately the engine just not getting that bio block quite, just not quite getting it. But yeah, I mean, again, the survivors played out of their mind, playing so well, still going for that save. With all due respect to the killer playing here, but this truly feels like I'm watching a public match recorded by my friends.
No, yeah, definitely. I think we're playing way too hard for hit tanks here, but as I say that, our Yunjin is able to get the unhook for free as we accidentally whack the survivor on the hook. And yeah, I don't know why we're feeding this killer so many stages. Just take the outs. Let him have his one kill. It's really not that deep. But it looks like we're going to be playing for the heal tech onto our Felix here, who is on Death Hook, I believe. And we're able to get the pick, and Felix is able to make it
Oh,
out. Playing for the four-man out here, very unfortunate. And I believe that'll be four hooks for our killer here. So our survivors of Origin having sorry, our killer of Origin having a three-stage, sorry, a five-stage win con and a three-stage loss con. We'll be back after a short intermission with the second half of our second set. Hello, hello, and welcome back to the second half of our second set. This really could be our final set of tonight with such an easy and meetable win con for our killer player on Origin here. Having a 5-stage win con, 4-stage tie con, and a 3-stage loss condition. Really can play for all stakes here, but it looks like we're running a pretty simple build, pretty standard build too, for this killer, Mr. Clown here. Gonna be checking deep into our 9 side of the map, seeing if we can spot anyone out. And it looks like we don't really spot anyone here, which is unfortunate. So our survivor stealths have really improved from set 1 here, it looks like.
Yeah, as you can see here, our clown here. I mean, we do see the scratch bounce here, so we're definitely gonna start the chase. Very easy win con, very doable. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about our killer here getting the win.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, anything can happen. Someone can have a generational chase for 5 gens. Some things happen, who knows? But yeah, games can really go anywhere. But as I say that, the head-on comes through. Our survivors are just playing this beautifully. That coordination is insane as our killer opts to vault this window and chase towards the 9 side of the map, looking for our injured Felix here. Throwing the
Yep,
bottle on the
I'm
tree, trying to get as much spread as possible with that bottle on the tonic, and getting the hits.
oof,
Very, very well done from our killer here, securing his first fresh hook of the game and his first hook of the game.
very well done by our killer here, just looking here towards the free side of the map, going for that yellow bottle on the pallet, getting the speed boost once done with braking. Kind of just going back to the generators, I think our killer here will check the Shack gen, if I'm not mistaken. No, not checking the Shack gen, being confident that the 7 gen is being worked on, which is not the case.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
looks like
it has a
someone
lot
had
of
been on
progress.
7, but looks like we're going to be applying Eruption on that and making our way back towards our hook. As we know that the stakes are low, we're able to leave, we can do anything here. So yeah, we don't really have too much to worry about if these survivors end up popping 2 to 3 more gens, because our killer really just has to secure 4-stage 4 fresh or 5 stages here to really win. So anything can happen.
Yep, anything can happen here. Anything can happen. Um, our killer here, I'm sure that our killer here will most likely get the win purely because of the ease of the win con and just, I would say, the confidence our killer has from the previous games in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Origin being a much more confident team. But as I say that, we like we shouldn't be doubting Temporary. We see them coming in for the double save, calling that a double save is needed against this guy, and that is exactly what they do to get their survivor out of a terrible scenario. The speed bottle coming down, gonna get some speed as we kick Shack Pallet and continue committing to our Felix here over towards the 3 side of the map. Sorry, the 9 side of the map.
Or, oh, my bad. We do see here, like you said earlier, my dear friend. Ooh, interesting. That was a wacky hit. We do see here our killer just wanting to get that quick tunnel out so that they can focus on the rest of the survivors. Everyone injured, which is very bad against a killer like Clown, who can pretty much just one battle you, and then yeah, you're just dead.
And it looks like this guy's final chase will happen on the 6 side of the map as we commit to him as he's hindered. The down does come through. I believe that'll be our third or second hook coming through. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be putting Felix back up on the hook at 4 gens remaining. And that is Felix out of the trial. So yeah, that is our third hook coming through. 2 more hooks needed at 3 gens remaining. Again, stakes are so low for our killer. Our killer can really do anything here. Can moonwalk around the map, can take a little stroll, and he should be able to secure this win condition with no issues being in his way.
Yep, I mean, again, like you said, ease of win con, just kind of like, again, just kind of like playing it for the fun at this point. We do have a very unfortunate down here. Again, not just the survivors surprisingly not going for the resets. So pretty much whoever gets found is pretty much a guaranteed death, since Clown can just slow you down very heavily. So yeah, just I would speaking of resets, everyone is healthy, but yeah, I would say just a very unfortunate ease of win con for the killer.
Yeah, definitely agree with you here. It is looking so rough for the survivors of Temporary, but they really are doing a great job in these chases from what I've seen so far. Like, look at this. Look at these reads on Mr. Tap here, just playing out of his mind. Can't doubt them one bit on the survivor side.
I'm sure the survivors here are definitely not so are not are players not to be underestimated. It's just very unfortunate that the win condition for the killer is just so low, so little is so easy to the point where very unfortunate hit to
That
the
is
point
the
where
focus of the century right there. But yeah, that it is quite unfortunate because our survivors are coming out here and putting out a great effort. But unfortunately, our last kill player got in his own head a little bit and wasn't able to secure the strongest win con for his team of Temporary. But all that matters is they came out, they tried their best, and yeah, it looks like we're going to be at our tie condition now, I believe.
just a again like I was saying earlier, just a very unfortunate situation for the survivors who are definitely trying their absolute best regardless of pretty much secured um a secured win for the killer here. Um, Something definitely to be respected, and something that I hope will drive them to continue in other competitions and to show their and to show what they're made of.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. I think Temporary will be one of those teams who has a rough first few matches, but then when it comes to losers bracket, they end up locking in and dominating because we do see they are so coordinated on the Survivor side, but it just wasn't enough, which is very unfortunate to catch up with these top tier teams here. So Origin's killer player will be going towards the 6 out of the map and spotting someone out as we commit our chase here onto Ace, I believe.
Yes, we do see here our clown
Sorry, I
here
think this
on
was
the
Tap,
sixth side of
yeah.
the map. It's all good. We do see here the clown on 6 with tap, a very unfortunate hit for the tap, but a very strong hit from the clown here, having rapid brutality and the heavy slowdown. Oh my god, a very nice hit over the pallet. Obviously getting rid of this filler and most likely gonna go for the hook. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, definitely. That was a two insane back-to-back hits. I know if I was the tap here, I would be molding a little bit about that because that was crazy. But yeah, the hook does come through onto our tap, tapping second hook here. Our win condition has been met for Origin here. So that means Origin will be taking the clean sweep of a 2-0 and moving on to Blood Rush League's second round of the main bracket. And Temporary will be moving on to losers bracket round one.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it again. Well played to both teams. Both of them give their absolute best. Everybody can have bad and good days. Sadly, I think I would say temporary side, killer side especially, just kind of had a bit of a rough day, I suppose, which is completely fine. Everyone has these kind of moments. I'm sure that in the losers bracket they're gonna do way better. They're gonna show that they are worthy of competing in the Blood Rush League, as they showed in the qualifier match.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. These guys dominated in their qualifiers, so it's very nice to see a change of pace for some teams and see how things really go on other sets here. And it looks like we're just going to be opting to take the pick onto Claudette and look for our final two survivors. I believe a reset could possibly come through onto our tap here.
Let's see if we do. Let's see if our survivors do decide to reset. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like I always like to say whenever I cast, whenever I'm playing with my friends, in competitive, everything can happen from a wild win con, like a wild win con of like this one, like a very easy win con for the other side, to just a complete domination on the opposite side. Everything can happen. Absolutely everything can happen. Bad days, good days, just lack of luck, maybe due to RNG on the maps. So yeah, I do think both sides are trying their absolute best. We do see the stunt here come through, though.
Yeah, I definitely agree with your statement here because that's what I love about competitive. Literally anything can happen. It doesn't really matter about your skill necessarily. It just depends. People, some teams have good days, some teams have bad days. Some of the top teams end up getting one stage, zero stage sometimes. It happens. Things happen. And that's what I love about competitive. Everything can change just depending on the day. But as I say that, we do see our tap go down and being placed on a hook. I believe that'll be tap out of the trial. That'll be our final survivor remaining, possibly playing for Hatch or an exit gate. Anything can happen here for her. Just trying to get the best result possible as they know that they have already lost this.
Going for that best result, for going for that best result as possible, regardless if they won or lost, in my opinion. Again, just kind of like shows great mentality, still trying to get the utmost from their experience from their respective matchups. And again, I think that's just a very wonderful thing to see. Not just giving up, oh, because we won, oh, because we lost. Going for that swing, getting the down, not the down, my bad, getting the injure, and this will be very cute interaction here. But this
Yeah.
will basically be this is basically game over for temporary here. But again, GG's to both of them. This little interaction goes to show that regardless of Origin's dominance, they showed respect to each other.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I love about competitive too, the respect from some teams. Because no matter who your opponent is, at the end of the day, you guys are in the same scene. You guys are here to have fun. You guys are here to play for yourselves, play for your team, play for practice even. And it's just nice to see. It's always nice to see teams come in and just have fun, even if they're much newer. We've seen some new teams, especially this season, we've seen a lot of new teams here having to verse some top teams. And it's very nice to watch and see how both teams perform. And yeah, this goes to show how how Temporary and Origin are very friendly teams who are just willing to have fun here.
Like you said here, like you said here, Origin and Temporary just going for the funsies at this point, which is again just great. Like this is one of the big reasons why I love this scene, and this game is a pure example of just the beauty of the scene. So I'm very happy I was able to cast this set. Thank you, Hart, so much for giving me this opportunity, and we will see you guys in the next matchup of Blood Rush League Season 3.
Yep, that's all. Thank you for watching.